Say hi, everybody.
It's on.
It's on. Hi, everybody. We're here from Iroquois Shoreline Park today. We're celebrating International Archaeology Day. And I'm here with Ainsley. And Ainsley's going to tell us why we're here at Iroquois Shoreline Park.
So, we are here because this used to be a site where they found artifacts. When they started building stuff here, they actually had to stop because they started finding pottery shards in the ground.
They did. So we are on Grandview Street North, almost at Totten Road. And when this subdivision was being built in the early 1990s, Ainsley's right, the construction had to be stopped for a while because they started finding pottery shards. Eventually, they determined that this site, where we are today, was the home of ancestral Wendat in a First Nations village, all the way back into the 1400s, which is really cool. So Oshawa's history goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. Isn't that really cool?
Yeah.
So they did what's called a salvage dig. Do you know what that is?
No.
That means that they only had a really limited amount of time to do their dig, take photos, write stuff down before all the houses still had to be built. So today what we're going to do, we're going to look at some of the artifacts that they did find here. We're going to do it blind bag style. So Ainsley's going to reach into the artifact box and pick something out, and we're going to see what it is. Can you hold it up and show the camera? Can you hold it up a little closer? There we go. So what do you think it is?
Piece of family pottery.
It is a piece of pottery. Can you describe it for me? I'll hold it up close to you. You describe it.
It has lines going down, but it's also going this way.
Mm-hmm.
And inside it kind of looks spongy, but it's very hard.
What's it made out of?
I think it's made out of like rock or something.
It's made out of clay.
Oh.
There's the soil in this area is very clay based, and all these hundreds of years later, it's still clay based soil. So we know that this is called, it's not only is it a pottery piece, it's called a rim shard because we can clearly see that there is a straight top. This was from the top of the pot. Now, an interesting thing about this pottery, not only does it have the horizontal striping and notching, on the inside, you'll also see some more decorative notching on the inside. Okay, let's find another piece. Reach in there and pick out something else. Ooh. You hold it up to the camera to see. You see?
It's like,
You come back a little bit.
it's like rock or something.
What do you think you could use that for?
Maybe it's an arrowhead? I don't know.
It looks a little bit like an arrowhead.
Maybe for like carving pottery or something?
Maybe.
I don't know, honest.
We call it a scraper. And this would be used, this was very, very sharp when it was first made. And you could use it for separating the meat from the animal hide.
Oh, gross.
We don't do this. There's other tools for this today. But you could use the meat to eat. And what would you use the animal hide for?
Maybe to make clothes.
To make clothes or blankets. And you might see, if the camera will pick it up, there's a number on here too. Do you know what the number is for?
Maybe it's the site they found it in?
A little bit. This is our museum recognition number. It's called an accession number. McLeod site. Do you know anything about the McLeod site?
Not really.
The McLeod site, which is 5 kilometers west of here. So after the ancestral Wendat lived here at the Grandview site, they moved to the McLeod site. You know what's interesting about the McLeod site is that it was very similar to Grandview. The same people lived there. They had the same farming techniques. They had the same kind of houses. They lived in, what kind of houses did they live in?
Longhouses?
Long houses.
I thought they were called long.
Long houses. Why are they called long houses?
Because they're very long because they need to fit at least probably 10 families in it.
Yeah, up to sometimes 100 people in there. So what happened was they lived at the Grandview site first, around 1400 to 1450, and then they moved over to the McLeod site because the nutrients in the soil here went away. There was no fertilizer like we can buy at the store today, or like we get animal manure. They didn't have any of that.
Gross.
So the nutrients in the soil wore out. They couldn't grow their crops anymore. So they had to rebuild their entire village on another site. So it's like they had to move all their houses and everything. It took a long time. Let's reach in here and find another artifact to talk about.
Oh, this is an arrowhead, isn't it?
Yeah, that one is an
I
arrowhead.
can see from right here.
Okay, yeah, hold it up. So the notching that's where Ainsley's holding it, can you turn it around a little bit? There you go. So you can see there, that's where it would have attached to a wooden shaft and being part of a string of bow and arrows.
Just imagine that there's a big wood thing here. Stick thingy.
Yeah. So what would you use, what would you hunt a bow and arrow with? Or what would you hunt for with a bow and arrow? Come sit down.
Wolves.
Wolves, yeah, wolves and coyotes they definitely would have had here. What other kinds of animals?
Chickens.
No chickens, no domesticated animals. So no chickens, sheep, horses, cows, dogs, or cats. What else was there? Bears, maybe bears. Foxes,
Yeah.
yep, they found rabbits, yeah. Anything else?
Birds.
Birds, yep, for sure birds. Okay, so reach in here, let's find something else to talk about. Oh, what's it gonna be? Oh, this is a big piece of
Pottery.
pottery. Yeah, so this is a really great example actually that shows how the two sites were related. This piece of pottery has what's called a slipped exterior, and that means that there's a watered down clay that's put on the piece of pottery just before it's fired. When it's fired, then it makes the bowl or whatever you're making waterproof. It turns out that archaeologists discovered that the McLeod site and the Grandview site were the only two places in our area that had pottery with the slipped exterior. So Ainsley, let's just tilt it a little bit and we'll see. I think the camera can pick up the two different colors.
Yeah, maybe.
So no, it's fine. So right here is the outside, and if I tip it, you can see here that it's a different color. That's that extra layer of clay that's added on there.
So you can kind of see. So if you tip it, it's kind of shimmery from the light.
Yeah, and I'm going to turn it this way. This is actually a rim shard because we have the plain top here, right?
If this wasn't a rim shard, it would probably look like that part if it wasn't a rim shard, because rim shards would be flat at the top, but if it wasn't, it would be all bumpy here, depending on what part of the pottery it is.
Yeah. Okay, let's do something else.
Okay, let's do this. Oh, it's another piece of pottery.
Oh my gosh, pottery is usually the thing that archaeologists find the most at archaeological sites.
So this, I don't think this actually might be a rim shard.
You know what? It is a rim shard,
Yes.
even though it's got an irregular top to it.
So it's still a rim shard, even though this is kind of curved in. It would still be a rim shard.
Because the decoration that's on the outside is called a castellation. And that means it kind of comes out to a bit of a triangular point. You see this sometimes on castles as well. There are so many different names for the different kinds of pottery and the pottery designs. And really it's for scholars and teachers and people who are doing like scholarly work. They really determine, can tell a lot more about the society based on the different kinds of pottery that they find. But for our purposes, rim shards, pottery shards, that's how we roll. Okay, we'll do one more from here. Let's talk about this one here.
Oh, fine. Really?
Yeah, do you know what this one is?
I think this is like a tooth or something.
It's not a tooth.
Pointy.
It's made from bone. It's a bone artifact. Stand back a little bit. Yeah, it's called an awl, A-W-L, and it was used for poking holes in leather to like sew them together. So it's pretty sharp.
It's not sharp.
It's not sharp now, it was then. So we would use this, like I said, for sewing. It would be women who did this kind of domestic chore, even back in the times that the Wendat were here. There were clearly delineated boy chores and girl chores, man chores and women chores. What do you think some of the things that kids did?
Hey, let me.
So some of the things that kids did, they would learn from, the girls would learn from aunts, moms, sisters, grandmothers, and the sons would learn from, who would the sons learn from?
Fathers, grandfathers, maybe cousins.
Yeah.
Uncles.
The thing you had to remember was boys would do boy stuff.
Like chop wood, maybe start the fire.
Yeah.
Girls would like cook, maybe make dresses.
Or clothing.
Yeah, clothing.
What other time period is that similar to?
The Victorian.
Victorian and pioneer times too. So it wasn't until fairly recently that gender roles really became enmeshed together. But for the last 500, 600 years, it was boys against girls.
And girl chores separate.
Yeah. This brings us to the end of our little video for International Archaeology Day. What's one of the ways that people can find out more about the ancestral Wendat in Oshawa?
Go to the Oshawa Museum YouTube channel.
Yeah, go to the Oshawa Museum YouTube channel. That's a fantastic one. We've got online videos that you can check out. We're going to be opening up for tours as well soon. So keep an eye on the museum's Facebook page at Oshawa Museum, or check out any of our other social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Oshawa Museum, and drop us a line and say hi. Thanks. Bye.